It's weekdays with Lee Dixon on your iHeart radio station. It's time to check in with our real estate guru, Craig Heppel. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hello, Lee. I'm doing fabulously well, thank you.
Time for our latest episode of A Peek Inside. Episode 22, dare I say?
22?
I
told you I'd do it.
What do you got for us this week?
Mate, how long does it take for house prices to double?
Well, we've heard of this in the news recently, actually. So What do you got for us? Any information? Have you got any insights that we mightn't be aware of?
I've got plenty. So, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Oh, if you've got to start like that. Okay, let's go to the bad news.
All right. The bad news is house prices go up, but they go down as well. But knowing when is the magic key. The good news, when they go up, they really go up.
And we've seen that.
The societal or urban myth is that they double every 7 to 10 years. Bow. You know, the old Family Feud buzzer? That's an urban myth.
Okay, right.
The average real estate cycle is...
Tell me.
About 18 years.
Oh, okay,
So,
wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that, wow. In simple terms, it's usually 14 up and 4 down. And sadly, the down can be a real downer. So it's no surprise that Cameron Cusher from realestate.com, he's a real estate writer, wrote an article last week on the blog pages that house prices in Australia had doubled in the last, wait for it, 15 years. So it gets better. How long do you think it took Tassie prices to double?
Well, we're kind of a little bit different to the average mainland numbers, aren't we?
We are, but cop this. Took 7 years. We bucked the trend.
I was going to say, buck the trend. Wow.
Yeah, 7 years. Tassie's been the sleeping giant of the Australian property market. With a low starting price base, strong migration, solid employment prospects, the ability to work remotely, infrastructure undertakings, and a growing agriculture, resource and tourism sector. It's no wonder we've halved the national average.
Yeah, wow.
And much of that price growth has come in the last 3 years alone.
Yeah, anybody
However,
that's...
but I'm going to temper this. However, we can't be fooled into thinking that this rapid price growth will continue unabated. So price growth slowed to a crawl from mid-2022 when the RBA unleashed its first couple of interest rate hikes.
Yep.
And since then, what are we up to, a dozen or more? So this saw a large chunk of prospective home buyers, mainly first home buyers, and to some extent investors, head for the sidelines. Now, since then, here on the Northwest Coast and in most Australian markets, we've seen the markets go from red hot to steady almost overnight. Locally, we're operating in an even market, just enough stock for just enough buyers. Those properties that are priced to be in the market are selling in reasonable time. Those vendors that choose to price their properties to be merely on the market are waiting and waiting. In the larger capitals, Sydney, Melbourne, many potential sellers are not waiting for the outcome of more rate rises.
Yep.
Usually July and August are slow trading months in the property market. Insiders are predicting a larger than expected number of listings to hit the market for that spring sales season. We'll talk about that. So the smarter sellers are hitting the market now to capture the best price while stock levels are relatively low. So in the local trenches, I've seen an uptick in inquiry and activity from first home buyers, whilst interstate and Hobart buyers, they're also inquiring at a steady clip. Now, as soon as they recognise a listing represents good value, boom, they're onto it like a seagull on a chip. So here's a couple of crystal ball predictions for the next few months. You ready?
Ooh, okay.
Pen at the ready?
Yep.
Okay. There will be 1 or 2 more interest rate rises.
Boo, hiss.
Yeah. Now, I expect a higher than recent average number of listings to hit the market in September, October for that spring selling season. If buyer numbers don't meet the increased stock levels, price growth will stall further. So here's a big tip. If you are thinking of selling before the end of the year, act now before buyers are given more choice with more stock.
Good advice. All right, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that insight into real estate happening around the state at the moment. It's always interesting and always changing, isn't it?
It is. It's a very fluid market.
Good to chat. We'll do it again in a week.
Thanks a lot, Lee.